start this and then start recording.
That we want to share with you today. Let me just check though that you can hear us loud and proud. So why not just type in the little webinar screen right now who you are and where you're listening to us, and I can give you a bit of a name check. I'll try and mention as many as you as I possibly can. Just type your name in the screen there and I can know that everything is working fine. So hello Gopal, nice to know you're there. You're in Nottingham, welcome to you. Hello Nick, you're in Vienna, Austria. Wow, I'm impressed with that. Dave, hello, you're in Swadlincote in Derby, a little bit nearer. We've got Akram, you're in Wembley. George, hello, you're in Aberdeen, and John is in Bournemouth. We've got Dave Wilson, hi, you're in Pontefract, Brian in Hemel Hempstead, and Peter in Northampton. We've got Sana, I think that is. Hello, Sana. You're in Birmingham. We've got Cleveland, you are there as well. We've got John in London. Hello, Marty, you're also in London. Peter Wilson's with us. Nigel, you're in Sturminster. That's in Dorset, I think. Ed in Preston and Jeff in London. We've also got Kate from High Wycombe and Gaz in the car heading back from London to Brum. Welcome, Gaz. I hope the signal is great for you driving back home to Birmingham and it doesn't drop out at all. But well done and thanks for persevering. And we've got Amo, hello, you're in Warsaw. We've got Cleveland in London. And Elaine, hello, you're in London. Good to know that you're here as well. We've got a great presentation for you. This is the time where you'll want to just get a little bit of water, just sit back, and don't forget to get that notepad and that pen, because you'll want to make plenty of notes based on what our presenter has got to share with you today. Lots of things you'll want to write down and go away and take action on. So now will be the right time to go and get that. We'll just wait for a few more people joining us here on this webinar. And what you will want to do is just sit back and enjoy and listen and then go out and take some action. So I see on the gateway there's still a few people just coming in and logging in. Welcome to the new people who are just joining us. I can see there's lots more just coming through. I'll just wait about another 30 seconds or so for people to come and join us. But nice to know that you can all hear us well and loud and proud across the UK today. In fact, internationally, as you heard earlier, we've even got somebody that's joining us from overseas, which is always nice. We've got Nick, who's joining us from Vienna in Austria. So I hope the weather's been great for you in Vienna today. And thanks for joining us, Nick, on this webinar. So there's still people joining us, but I think it's safe now for us to go. So if I say hi and hello and welcome, my name is Andy Haynes. I'm delighted to welcome you on behalf of Your Property Network magazine for another in their series of these free webinars. I've been running the Worcester PIN meeting now for about 7 years or so. I've been investing in property for a long, long time. In fact, I started investing in property back in the year 2000. So that's what, 15, 16, nearly 17 years, isn't it? But I've now been full-time as a property investor for at least 7 of those years, and I'm loving it. And I'm delighted to be a regular host of the Your Property Network magazine webinars. That's a little bit of my background. Let me tell you a little bit about our guest that's joining us this evening, because after leaving university, he took over his father's small property portfolio and he then grew it dramatically, and I'm told it's now a multi-million-pound business, and his specialism is providing housing for the benefit sector, you know, those on local housing allowance. And today on this webinar, our speaker is discussing how now is the perfect time to become creative and to get involved in property with none of your own money. Okay, this is the story of how a broke student made £6 million worth of property cash in just 3 years. It's a great story, isn't it? Will you please help me give a big welcome to Arsh Ellahi. Hello, Arsh.
Hi. Hi, thank you very much for that warm welcome, Andy. I don't think I've ever been on a webinar where it has actually been such a warm welcome. So first of all, thank you. And thank you to YPN, who've very kindly asked me to come along and talk on this fantastic webinar on such a great evening. So that's all I can say really is thank you, because I've sat down for quite a while today and I spent a lot of time actually going through the presentation that we're going to create, sorry, the presentation that we're going to go through. So, first of all, I want to say thank you because I appreciate that it's a Tuesday evening. There's lots of things that you could be doing. You could be out networking, you could be out with your family, you could be still trick-or-treating if that's what takes your fancy. I went trick-or-treating last night with my two daughters, had a really great time, ate so much more sweets than my daughters did, admittedly. But tonight we're here and we're going to be talking about one thing and one thing only, and that's property. And for those that are online via our webinar, first of all, I want to say thank you for registering and thank you for spending the most precious commodity, which is time, with me this evening. Just so that you know, we're also live streaming this on Facebook as well. So first of all, I want to say thank you to Facebook. I want to also just let you know that I'm testing out a few little gadgets tonight, so hopefully it all goes together quite well. So what we're going to be talking about, because in just under 90 minutes, we're going to be talking about exactly how to make holiday-sized bundles of cash, starting with student savings. Now, just so that I know that I'm actually on the right webinar, and hopefully that I am, can you just say a quick yes or no? Does that interest you? Or more importantly, would you like to make holiday-sized bundles of cash, literally just starting with nothing? So going on, so people saying, oh yes please, fantastic. Okay, so we're in the right room. So for those that don't know much about me, I'm gonna just give you a brief introduction. Who is Arsh Ellahi? Well, first of all, I was very, very privileged to be asked back in 2012 to write for a magazine called Your Property Network. For those that don't know anything about Your Property Network, I would strongly urge that you become a subscriber. I'm going to be showing you how you can do that as well this evening. I'm an Amazon award-winning author or best-selling author for Boom Bust and Back Again, which you can find on Amazon, and it is still a bestseller. I've been trading property now since I was the age of, well, that's actually wrong. I was since the age of 20, and I made £6 million in the first 3 years. Now, that's quite a big number, and that's quite a large claim, but I've got everything to back it up. I've got a multi-million-pound property portfolio, as Andy said, and I am, as they say, financially free. For those that can see me on Facebook, I'm actually presenting from my home office, and I'm going to be going through some of the stuff that we've done. So last year was a pretty prolific and a horrible year for me, and the reason why I say that, I'm going to share a bit of a story with you. I decided that, last year was a great year. And it was also a really bad year because in February I was blessed with my second daughter. And when I say blessed with my second daughter, she was born on the 8th of February 2015. Yes, we are in 2016. So 2015 she was born, and then literally 3 weeks, so she was born on the 8th, and then on Friday 13th of February, my father actually got diagnosed with cancer. So that kind of hit me for 6, and literally my world fell apart. And I decided that I wasn't going to work for the rest of the year until my mum actually sat me down and she goes, son, your dad would never want you to literally be sitting around doing nothing. Because my father pretty much worked right up until the month that he passed away. He was such a hard-working gent, and to be fair, I miss that man every day of my life because he was my best friend, he was my property mentor, and he was the first person I'd speak to at night, pretty much the last person I'd speak to before I go to bed. We would always strategize. And when he passed away, it really hit me for 6. And then my mum sat me down. She goes, son, your dad would never want to see you in this state of mourning. And she goes, do this. Go out and work as hard as you can and make him proud. So now, for those that know, I've got quite a decent sized property portfolio. I've got about 650 tenants, majority of them on benefits, but that doesn't bother me. Now, I decided to change my strategy, and I went back to a strength which I believe is one of my greatest strengths, which is negotiation. And last year, between April and December, I traded 140 properties. Now, there's 2 main points that you want to take a note of here. There's traded, and there's 140. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't have a bottomless pit of cash, which means that it's physically impossible. Well, I don't know, depending on how much money you got in the bank, but it's physically impossible for you to go and buy 140 deals and keep 140 deals. So I decided to trade every single one of them. As well as that, I'm going to show you how I did that shortly, actually. As well as that, I'm a property trainer. I run a property investment company. I'm a trainer. I'm a mentor that's helped hundreds of people that are hungry for change to achieve financial freedom. And it all came from an ambitious plan that all my friends laughed at. And I put up a Facebook post today, and I said, well, the people who laughed at you first will be the people that will end up crying last, because these are the people that potentially would have not. I shared some of my secrets with some of my university pals when I first started this journey. Arsh, you're never going to make it happen. Even people that were close to me, even my father was skeptical. Arsh, how are you going to do that? How are you going to buy property with none of your own money? Tonight we're going to actually go through that secret. Now the plan was to buy property and JV with someone rich. But who would invest with me? Back then, I was pretty much a broke student. But after 3 months of failure, I was about to throw in the towel. I'm sure that you've pretty much been on that journey as well. Now, you will get knockbacks from time to time, and even I still today get knockbacks. But that doesn't deter me, because what we do, we brush ourselves off and we go again. So, starting a business can be easy. You can pretty much start with as little as £500. Very easily, you can go and print some leaflets. I pounded the streets of Wolverhampton, so literally street after street after street, leaflet after leaflet after leaflet. Now, I run a company called WeBuyPropertiesFast.co.uk, and I was the first. What I decided to do, I decided to throw myself right into the middle of the competition. And the reason why I say that, I've got high street presence in Wolverhampton. I'm probably one of the only property traders in the country that has still got high street presence. Now, lots of other people advertise in the back of the paper. And they go, call John, and they put their phone number. And generally, it is a one-man band on his mobile phone. What makes me different is I can say, I'll tell you what, guys, why don't you come in, sit with me, and we'll have a chat, we'll have a cup of coffee, and we'll find a solution. And that allows me, that USP alone brings me in hundreds of deals every year. So after pounding the streets, success led to more success, and more success led to even better financial freedom in less than 6 months, just by creating pocket-sized balls of cash. Now, one thing I am going to do, and admittedly this is a bit of a tease, the guys that are on Facebook, we're going to stop streaming right now. The reason being is we're going to really start sharing some golden nuggets. And for those that are on my Facebook, you will see a link right now, which is bit.ly/broke with a capital B, student with a capital S. If you want to join the rest of the webinar, all you've got to do is click the link on my Facebook page or on any of the pages that brought you to this feed, and let's hopefully move you forward, and you can watch live on the webinar as well as all the other hundreds of people that are online now. So guys, on that note, I'm going to say good night, and hopefully I will be seeing you shortly on the webinar. But hopefully you've enjoyed it. Ciao for now. So guys, right, so you are now specifically live only with me on the webinar. So first of all, congratulations. I want to spend a lot of time with you guys tonight. More importantly, I want to share a lot of secrets with you. So what is it that actually allowed me to become a property consultant? Because that's what I see myself as. A property consultant is a person who is able to solve complex problems for two very different groups of people. Homeowners and property investors. So the reason why I say that is because we have to achieve mission impossible on a daily basis whilst making a fortune while the masses cling to a false belief. The reason why I say that is because the people hopefully that you're going to be looking to do a deal with are the homeowners. And believe it or not, when I say they're a complex group of people, because generally they're looking to achieve as much as they can for their property, but generally you want to pay as little as possible for the property. So how does that work? How are they going to do that? How are we going to get that? But more importantly, how can we make the deal good enough for then a property investor to say, you know what, that's a great deal. Yes, I will buy it off you. because every property investor is different. Now, I don't know about you, but in the marketplace right now, there's so many different types of property investors. So there's those that will want massive 30% below market value. There will those that will only want rent-to-rent deals. There will be those that only want lease option deals. There will be those that will literally only want refurbs. There will be those who are looking for service accommodation units. There's such a variety of strategies out there, and trying to match them all together can be a task in itself, but we do it on a day-to-day basis. Now, I'm a big believer is that don't believe the masses, follow a proven system and help the other people achieve their goals. And that's what I do every day. I've got a database of thousands of property investors, and every day we help them achieve their goals. Every property they buy is a goal closer to financial freedom. Now, when I put this slide in, I thought, well, really, this is a tough one, because when we called it the Big Short, we're betting against the housing market, which was seen as an insanity up until September 2008. Now, for argument's sake, who would have ever thought that the property market was going to crash? People were buying in their masses. People were going to companies like Mortgage Express, who were giving them same-day refinance, and they're buying so many properties. And I, for one, was also guilty of that. I make no mistakes in that. I bought a lot of stock back then, and I still own a lot of stock back then. But the difference between me and probably other property investors, I've paid down a lot of my debt as well. My book, remember, is called Boom, Bust, and Back Again. Hopefully that gives you an indication of pretty much a bit about my journey. I nearly went bust. I had to literally hold on to my business by the skin of my teeth. And I'm back again. But what we're generally saying is that here, you don't have to own property. You don't have to bet against the market, housing market, because generally speaking, you don't even have to own the property to get involved in property. As Warren Buffett says, observe the masses and do the opposite. Now, how many people do you know are still out there buying property? How many people do you know are still looking for their deals? Now, the reason why I say that, I'm a big believer that every property investor should have 3 goals in their strategy: a short, a medium, and a long-term goal. For those that have seen me speaking out on the circuit, property circuit, or whatever circuit, I also speak in business circuits. So anyone that's seen me would say that you've got to have a short-term goal, you've got to have a medium-term goal, and you've got to have a long-term goal. Short-term goal, without a doubt, has to be cash flow. Stuff that you can actually get today. Whereas lots of people are buying HMOs, and that's a very long-term goal. Yes, it might make you a bit of cash flow. Is it going to make you rich today? No, it's not. So what we're going to be showing you is 2 different ways, because I'm a big believer that cash flow is a key to freedom and happiness. And I say that every day of my life, because without cash flow is the lifeline to your success. So what does a family holiday cost? Now, depending on the size of your family, could be vary between 2,000, 5,000, even 8,000. But more importantly, how many holidays would you like a year? Because one thing that we have to do is, first of all, figure out what is your idea of financial freedom. Well, what does financial freedom look like to you? And what I'd like to do is, if you guys online now, if you wouldn't mind just saying a quick, hi, my idea of financial freedom is spending more time with my family, going on more holidays, spending time doing charitable work, whatever it may be. What's your idea of financial freedom? And what does that figure look like to you? So is that £2,000 a month? Is it £5,000 a month? Let's just spend a minute on just thinking about that, because it's such a pivotal point of the webinar that I'd really like to understand who we've got online and how is it that we're going to get to that figure. So again, what is your figure of financial freedom? Is it £2,000 a month? Is it £4,000 a month? Okay, so Bernie's coming straight away. Bernie wants 4K a month. Okay, 5K a month, 4, 5, 5, 8. So 5 seems to be the common point of view. Now, 5K a month is equivalent to £60,000 a year, which you would say is a pretty high salary. Now, Steve has come in at 10 grand a month, 3 grand. Okay, so 5, 10, 5. Financial freedom for me is 10k. Okay, so we've got, I would say the median there is 5 grand a month, which is equivalent to 60 grand a year. Wow, okay, John has come in straight away. Arsh, I want 50 grand a month, which is £600,000 a year. Believe it or not, John, it is feasible. Okay. So what will replace your salary? 5 grand and 10 grand? And you can have this actually in 3 months' time, because what we're going to be talking about tonight is the strategy that's going to allow you to do this. And as you'll see by some of the deals now, you can actually have it in 1 month. Now, why would you trade deals? Why would you not keep all the deals for yourself? Now, I get asked this question all the time. Arsh, okay, this is such a fantastic deal. Why are you not doing it yourself? Shall I be honest? I don't want to do it myself. And the answer is because I want to be in. It's fast, it's in and out, which means that I don't get bored. It's cheap, and it is very low risk. For those that know me will know that I'm such a risk-averse person. Going back to my book, Boom, Bust, and Back Again. I've been at that time at a low point where I couldn't even afford a haircut that day. And bearing in mind, a haircut was £5. I couldn't do it that day. I didn't have the money that day. So I am now very risk averse. Now, for argument's sake, if I know that I can acquire a lead and I can monetize that lead and make anywhere between £3,000 and £10,000, as opposed to having to buy that lead, deal with solicitors, deal with mortgage brokers, deal with tenants, deal with management companies, why would I do that? Now, for argument's sake, the average cash flow on a single let is around £200 a year. Now, £200 a year is £2,400. £200 a month, which is £2,400 a year. Now, if I can make 3 grand off a deal within, say, an hour, why would I want to wait a whole year to make money that I can make in an hour? I don't have to deal with bills, don't have to deal with maintenance, no hassles, just literally holiday-sized bundles of cash. Now, what we're going to be talking about today is a simple 3-step system. Find it, agree a price, and sell the deal. It really is that simple. Now, I'm just quickly go. So, find houses that won't sell. Now, where do I find these properties? Now, I put on there estate agents and direct to vendor. Well, naturally, people are going to think, well, why would estate agents sell me a property? Now, I'm going to play with your minds this evening. My question to you is, why wouldn't an estate agent sell you the deal? Does that make sense? What do estate agents, when an estate agent opens their door every day, what is their prime objective? Would you mind just quickly answering that? Because from what I remember, what an estate agency does, they're there to sell houses. And as a result of selling houses, they're going to earn commission. So why wouldn't they sell you a house? The amount of deals that we're doing with estate agents. But people say, Arsh, you can't buy a deal off an estate agent. They don't sell to me. It's all about what you tell them. It's all about the way you present yourself. It's all about understanding what you're looking for. It's all about putting across to them, telling them what you're looking for. More importantly, I'm not walking in and saying, hi, my name's Arsh. I want to buy all your stock at 25% below market value. Shall I let you into a little secret right here, right now, guys? I don't mind paying market value for a property. Now, that seems absurd. Why would I pay market value for a property? Because I know from looking at that property and from what I'm looking for, that property is going to be worth a lot more in a short while. And we could be looking at it from a cash flow point of view. And we find other houses direct to vendor. But again, I'm a big believer. Now, I admit that this webinar may take you around in a circle, But I'm a big believer that if you're a one-trick pony, you're not going to do many deals. If you're only going out looking for 25% below market value deals, you're going to cross out 95% of your market, even slightly more. Reason being is no one wants to give away 25% of their equity. Now, how many times have you called or spoke to a vendor and said, okay, Mr. Vendor, it's worth £100,000, but today I can only offer you 75. What's the first thing that they start to do? They start to back away. They start to think, okay, this doesn't really work for me. Let's go and find someone else. With estate agents, you tell them what you want. You have to build trust and rapport with them. And what you say with them, do what you say you will. And now the reason why I say that is because if you turn around and you tell them that you're going to buy it and you're going to complete within 7 days, and 4 weeks later you're still messing about trying to get a mortgage, guess what, guys? They're not going to call you back. Okay, so interested. Hillary's been presented with some good deals this last week, but don't really know how to get rid of them. Help needed, please. Okay, Hillary, let's hopefully help that today's going to be a good day for you. And then finally, reward them, because remember, estate agents are only about one thing. Now, people say to me that estate agents won't sell me deals. Well, what are you doing to reward them? You know, are you going in there offering 25% below market value? Because guess what, guys? Estate agents work on percentage of the sale price. So if it's worth 100 and you're offering 75%, that means that they're going to be selling to you for £75,000, which means that they're going to be getting a percentage of that instead of the market value. How do you reward them otherwise? You've got to start to look at how can you oil the cogs in all parts of the transaction, which starts to make them all turn and create a win-win-win. Now, there always has to be 3 wins. I'm a big fan of 3 wins. Win for the agent, win for the vendor, win for you. And if there's another investor buying off you, win for them. So this has to be win-win-win-win. And I might actually call it, is it called win? Is there any such thing as win squared? Possibly. I might have a look at that. Your free sales force, because technically speaking, get agents on board. 90% of the houses are sold through estate agents. When a house doesn't sell itself, they will need you. But more importantly, get to a point where agents will be calling you on a day-to-day basis. Hi, Arsh, I've just had this property in. Here's a scenario. What do you think you can do with it? And this is the kind of calls that I take every day. So even from national estate agents around the country, so Connells, Your Move, Halifax Rebrains, so you name it, we're dealing with agents on a day-to-day basis. Now, with direct to vendor, you've got to make the phone ring. And more importantly, you've got to understand what to say when it does, because so many people fall at this hurdle. Now, I know so many people that have gone out and put out 100,000 leaflets, and they've forgotten the fundamental rule. Putting the leaflets out is one thing. Converting the lead when it rings, when the phone rings, is something completely different. Because if you're not confident in what your pitch is, why would the vendor ever come to you? So understanding what to say and how to present it in a format where it is a win-win-win, win-win-win-win scenario is the key. So to make the phone ring, you've got to put out leaflets, you've got to put out posters, you've got to put out newspaper adverts, you've got to put out Facebook adverts. Now, Facebook is a free tool unless you're putting adverts out there. And it's a fantastic tool because you never know who you're going to bump into. You could bump into just vendors, you could bump into investors. You can bump into other agents that are also out there touting for business. You could do JVs. Now, we're going to touch base on these. So the first one is leaflets. Now, everyone knows pretty much about what a leaflet is and what a leaflet should look like. But what we're going to do is we're just going to go through it on a step-by-step basis. So what do you write on them? Have you ever heard of the marketing term ADA? ADA stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. That's right. So attention, interest, desire, and action. And you might want to make some notes here, because the first line on The first line on your leaflet has got to be the headline that asks the question. And that question has got to be, do you need to sell your house fast? Are you struggling to sell your property? Does that make sense? Second part has got to be, you've got to show that you understand their situation. Are you struggling to pay your bills? Are you moving away? Are you just looking for a quick sale? Moving forward, we then progress it further. You've got to present it in a manner saying, can you help them? How can you help them? Fast cash purchase in just 14 days. We will pay your legal fees. And finally, the call to action. It's generally been said that a woman's name is more trusted than a man's name. So you've got to make your phone number huge. And you've only got to have one call to action. The reason why I say that is because so many people put their mobile numbers down, as well as their website address, as well as their email. And generally speaking, people will get confused by that. So what do you say when the phone rings? Because now let's just imagine, let's go through the motion that we've got all these people, you've put out 100,000 leaflets, you've got all these people calling in. Now, question that you've got to ask yourself is the one thing that the person that they will want to know when they're on the phone with you. They'll want to know, what are you going to be giving me for my house? Because believe it or not, that's the one question that you don't want to ask. You don't want to be asked. Reason being, because if you're saying, well, okay, it's worth 100, I'm going to give you 70, they're going to put the phone down straight away. What you need to do is learn how to dodge the bullet and, more importantly, get your foot in the door. Because you've only got a couple of minutes on the phone. If you can get in their house, you could very easily spend the rest of the evening talking about what their dog's brother's name is. You know, and the rapport building and and how you get on with that vendor will then determine whether you're going to do the deal. Then you agree a price. What is it? What do they want? What do they need to move? And the reason why I put what do they need to move in, it's just purely because in some scenarios they may not need, for argument's sake, if the house is worth 100 grand and they've got a 98 grand mortgage on it, they may only want a couple of grand out of the equity so that they can move on, which means that you don't have to buy the property. Potentially it could be a lease option, potentially it could be an assisted sale, potentially it could be a rent to rent. But this is the key about being a trader. You've got to learn all the little bits and pieces so that every opportunity that you come across in a vendor, you're ticking it off in your own mind. Can I buy, sell, rent? Buy, sell, rent. Buy, sell, rent. Just make a note of these 3 points. Buy, sell, rent. Can I buy it? If I can't buy it, can I sell it? If I can't buy or sell it, can I rent it off them? So what do they need to move? Is it the equity? And why do they need to move? Is it because they need to clear unpaid bills? Is it actually a deposit for a next house? Are they upscaling? Are they downscaling? If kids just flock the nest and now the house is too big, is the house too small, they need to upscale? What is it? But you've got to understand the scenario that the vendor is in at that point. Because the value is based on selling. Why do they need to move? You're putting their reason why in their hands faster than than anyone else. You are not buying their house. Does that make sense? You're understanding why they want to move. You're then putting their reason why in their hands faster than anyone else, which means that you're not buying their house yet. Now, I'm just going to talk here about a couple of, the reason why I say it is that there are two main strategies here. One, which we're going to be talking about, is deal trading. Second one is going to be talking about a rent-to-rent strategy. So again, we're going to be looking at we're going to be looking at short and a long-term strategy. Short-term is holiday-sized bundles of cash, and those holiday-sized bundles of cash can then potentially help you generate or get some rent-to-rent properties off the ground, which gives you regular income as safe as a salary, managing properties you don't own. Now, in there's 5 direct-to-owner sourcing strategies that we're going to be talking about, giving you the deal flow to meet your cash flow goals and the estate agent secrets, how to build an army of sourcing agents that work for free. And we'll be looking at the negotiation secrets and how much do they need to move, how to calculate, how to sell the value of it to the homeowner, and 3 different ways to sell your deals for cash in less than 5 days. And one of them is actually Facebook, believe it or not. How many times have you seen deals being sold on Facebook? But there are so many other ways that makes them better. And we'll be looking at rent to rent and how to get started fast, cheap and safely. Just so that you know, guys, at the tail end of last week and as of this week, we've taken on 6 properties. Now, I met one landlord, believe it or not. This is actually a true story. So in Wolverhampton, I took on 1 rent to rent at the start of October. We're currently in the process of just finishing off the refurb. And then next door, I actually just met the landlord who has just evicted a tenant, and he was sick to death of that. So we took him out for a coffee. So just had a bit of a chat, who he is, what he is, and what he was all about. Next thing you know, this week, hopefully, we're signing an agreement where he's handing over 5 properties to me. 5 properties, so he's got a fair bit of pain and a lot of motivation to do a deal. So all 5 properties are on a 5-year term, rent-to-rent basis, and that's going to give us, well, all in all, 5 times 6. Each one will become a 6-bed HMO. That's going to give us 30 rooms. And then in addition to that, we've taken on another landlord who's only got the 1 property, but it's going to be a 7-bed HMO. And we've negotiated all kinds of things like rent, where the landlord's going to put in the carpets and decorate it. I've even negotiated stuff like first month's free, so we've got break clauses, all kinds, and the great deals. So in total, we're going to have another additional 37 units to let. Now, some people may not get to 37 units in their whole lifetime. Whereas what we're doing is we've done that within a week. We'll be showing you how to give struggling landlords everything that they want and more, so that they can practically crawl across broken glass to have you manage their property. Just like the landlord that I was talking about. He had to evict a tenant, he had to go through the court, and the reason why he had to evict the tenant is because that tenant was subletting his property and then created a HMO, illegal HMO, and the council was in the process of prosecuting him, and he had to spend the best part of £6,000 in legal fees just to fight the council. Now, just imagine £6,000. £6,000 is equivalent on a single let. Is equivalent to best part 3 years worth of cash flow straight down the drain. Not to mention the eviction costs, not to mention the damage that they caused. That landlord has lost pretty much like 5 or 6 years worth of cash flow straight away. So can you see the reason as to why he'd be willing to do a deal with someone that's willing to offer him a guaranteed rent for such a long period? We're going to be looking at how to profit from the surge in tenant demand. The simple formula to make your advert stand out from a crowded market. Bearing in mind, I'm now going to have 37 rooms to occupy. Where am I going to find 37 tenants from? And then what do today's professional tenants want? How to create the luxury accommodation on a shoestring budget. Because remember, 6 properties, we're going to have to occupy, we're going to have to not only tenant them, but before we tenant them, make them look presentable, furnish them, and that's all going to cost money. Now, the reason why I say that, because this is the no money down property investment system. We're going to be showing you how to systemize your business to grow your business so that's actually on autopilot. So some of you saw that as actually working from my home office. Very rare that I go into the office. It'll save you time, save you stress, and save you mistakes and make it easier for you to outsource repetition and mundane tasks, and then allow you to build your income and your property empire at the speed of your ambition. Now, ambition's a big thing. We've already talked about some of the cash flow figures that you want to get to financial freedom. The majority of them was around £5,000, which is £60,000 a year. And you can make that happen. Now, admittedly, we've just put that in just so that you can see. Now, moving on, selling the deal. Who wants it? Where can you find them? And how can you present the deal in a way that inspires trust? Now, the reason why I say that is because anyone can go out and get a deal. Finding someone to buy it or finding someone that's going to share your vision is another angle. Does that make sense? Now, how many times have you guys, as property investors, been presented with a property deal and you thought, yeah, it's okay, it's not great, but if it was made better, it could have been presented in a better way? Because remember, what you're technically doing is selling gold at a discount. Because this is so unbelievable, you first need to make me believe that the gold is real, then tell me why you are selling it cheap. Now, for argument's sake, I'll tell you about a deal that I put out, and it literally was gold. 6-bed HMO. Well, sorry, it was a 3-bedroom, semi-detached house in Wolverhampton. So it was in my patch. Landlord's willing to sell it at 100 grand, probably worth around 125 as the open market today. And it's got the opportunity, so it's within 5 minutes walk of the hospital, 5 minutes walk of the town centre. So it ticks all the boxes. It's not in an Article 4 area. It's going to produce great cash flow. It's ticking all the boxes. It sounds like the golden bullion. Why are we selling it so cheap? Reason being, it's packaged up in a manner so that investors and also first-time buyers can actually buy it. More importantly, our market is anyone that wants to buy a house. Now, I come across deals that, again, are lease options, rent-to-rent deals, below market value opportunities. But it's all about understanding what these deals are so that I can package them out so that you guys can actually see them. So just for argument's sake now, I'm going to ask the question. How many of you guys that are on the webinar now have seen a deal that I put out to my email database? And you won't see all the deals because we do a lot of deals to private investor groups that I've got in my phone, who generally are people that I know that are guaranteed going to buy and do the deal. How many times have you seen an email that comes from here and thought, oh, that looks quite interesting. Should I call him? Should I not call him? Does it look too good to be true? Because I get emails all the time when I put those out and say, well, Arsh, why are you not doing the deal yourself? And it's simply just purely because I'm building pocket size full of cash. I don't want to be a landlord. I've already got 650 odd tenants. I don't want any more. Don't need any more, even though I'm still taking on rent and rents. So let's keep moving on. We've got to dangle the carrot. Because as property investors, they know that savvy people like you can do what they can't. Find B&B deals. Every day we find new stock and we put it out to investors and we sell it every day. You know, some weeks we're doing 5 or 6 deals where the average fee is between 3 and 5 grand. Now, some of you guys said that you wanted to make 5 grand a month. How about if we say that in 1 week you're going to turn around 30 grand? 30 grand a week. Okay, you're not going to get 30 grand a week every week, but on average you're going to do around 5 grand a week. Now, where can you find the investors? Now, let's have a look at some of the groups. Now, Facebook groups, there's the UK Property Traders Group, you've got the Below Market Value Group. Between them alone, there's the best part 40,000 members. But again, that is very, you know, it's a very, almost like a dartboard approach because you don't know who's in that group, you don't know what they're looking, and there's a lot of nurturing that has to be done because you don't know, you know, there's a lot of talk in property, but there's a lot of people talking, but not much action. You need to find the action takers. And you guys tonight, believe it or not, are action takers. You've got to play by their rules because you've got to be known to the community before you sell the deals. Now, how many times have you gone into those Facebook groups and got your fingers slapped? Or I get my knuckles wrapped pretty much every week for going in and presenting new deals because they keep telling me that I've got to give value to the group on a regular basis and you've got to dig your well before you're thirsty. 2 months minimum before you can sell their deals. Now, what are you going to do with those deals in 2 months? Now, here's where I'm going to dangle the carrot for you guys because I'm giving you guys an opportunity tonight to JV with me. When I say JV, we're not talking about exchange of cash, so we're not breaking any laws, we're not flaunting any laws here tonight. What we're doing is I'm going to say that I've got a property investor database of 100,000 property investors across the country, and you guys know about this because obviously you're on my investor database who are looking to buy B&B property or even lease option or rent-to-rent deals. And if you've got a great deal, let me help you by selling it. Now, one thing that we are going to mention is a magazine called Your Property Network, because as part of the offer tonight, we're going to give you a free trial offer. If you subscribe today and you'll get your first issue for free, which means that you gain instant access to the vault of back issues. You get immediate access to online property training, and you also get to watch video interviews with hundreds of ordinary people who took action, who have now changed their life thanks to the amazing power of property. So there's the first thing that we're going to offer you for free. And there's going to be a number of things that we offer you for free tonight. So just by attending tonight and by signing up to Your Property Network, you get immediate access to a load of training and video interviews. You also get a no long-term contract. So it's pretty much as pay as you go. Your subscription can be cancelled at any time. And after reading your first free issue, if you don't think it's right for you, you just simply cancel your subscription and it won't cost you a penny. Now, what's in the magazine? The reason why I say that is because there's so many experts out there who are giving commentary on a monthly basis on changes in the property market and what they mean for you. I actually have been writing in there for the last 3.5 years. I'm very privileged to be asked to write in the magazine. And there's so many success stories from ordinary people like you guys that have taken action and changed their life through property. Again, of being a panel of experts revealing the straight from the trenches tips, tricks and hard-won secrets that are working right now. Now, here's what you do, guys. To subscribe to YPN, all you've got to do is I'm going to be giving you another free gift right now. So you get your free trial of YPN, and you get a free, no money down property investment book, which was written by me personally. So as a result of signing up to YPN, you'll get a free money down property investment book. So all the tricks and the tips that we've been talking to, you will get the book. Now, Beverly has said, well, what if I already subscribe? Beverly, what we can do, if you're already a subscriber, I'll get George to send you the book. But if you're not already a subscriber, what we can do, yeah, so Hillary said, I already subscribe to YPN. Now, what I'll do is I'll ask George nicely to send you guys the book, and we'll get that out to you. Just as my way of saying thank you for being with me this evening. Third of all, we're going to give you an outrageous discount on the ticket price and no money down property investment event. Now, again, we're going to be talking about holiday-sized bundles of cash and rent-to-rent as a property strategy. We're looking at the 5 direct-to-owner sourcing strategies. Now, believe it or not, I've actually got 30 different ways of how to find properties direct to vendor or through the agents. There's 30 different methods. So I'll be going through 5 of them. And one of them is the estate agent secrets, how to build an army of sourcing agents, and the negotiation secrets to close more deals, which get you bigger discounts while creating a win-win for you and the homeowner, and how much you actually need to move. Remember, talking about understanding the vendor, key to it is understanding who they are and what they are and what they want to achieve by the transaction. And finding out the 3 different ways to sell your deals for cash in less than 5 days. The last deal that I put out to my database, we sold in 4 minutes. So if you like the thought of that, and again, one of them is Facebook, and I'll give you that as a little tip. Now, going back to it, we'll be looking at what is rent-to-rent, and more importantly, how to get it started fast, cheap, and safely, and how to give struggling landlords more and more, and how to profit from the surge in tenant demand. So normally that is $497. Now, my third gift to you guys tonight is don't switch off, because I'm doing a 1-day event in Birmingham. Sorry, when I say 1-day event, I'm doing 2 1-day events. One is in Birmingham and one is in London. And you can have it for £47. And in that day, we're breaking it up into 2 segments. So in the morning, we're going to be going through rent-to-rent. How to find the landlord, where to find the landlord, what to say to the landlord, how to come out with a scenario. In the afternoon, we'll be going through deal trading. Where do we find the deal? How do we meet the agent? What do we say to the agent? What kind of documents do you require to move forward? Now, the locations, so we've got Saturday the 19th of November, and that is actually in Birmingham. So we booked the Novotel Hotel, which is on Broad Street in Birmingham. And again, these are only £47. The reason why I say that is because we want you guys to be with us. And as a result of that, we're also going to give you the opportunity to JV with me. So Saturday the 19th of November is in Birmingham, and then Saturday the 3rd of December, which is in London. And all you've got to do to book is go to that link at the bottom. So it's yourpropertynetwork.co.uk/Arsh. Because what you're doing is that if you're already a subscriber to YPN, what you may need to do, you may need to send me an email after, and we can get you booked on. So again, it is a YPN exclusive offer for £47 only. And again, you go to yourpropertynetwork.co.uk/Arsh. Now, if you're a little bit worried about the content, what I'm actually willing to do is I'm willing to put my neck out on the line here and give you a 100% money back guarantee, because I've wrote the content for this workshop. I'll be delivering the content on this workshop, and you're going to be walking away with everything that you need to get you up and running on rent-to-rent and also deal trading. But more importantly, as a result of that, you're also going to get an opportunity to JV with me. So if you're not happy or if you're not completely satisfied with the course, all you've got to do is tell me at the lunchtime of the day, and you get a full refund, no money's asked. So here's what you've got to do next. Simply, literally, we're going to have a Q&A session in a second, because there's a lot of questions that have come through. All you've got to do is, first of all, subscribe to YPN. You get your first issue free, and you get a copy of my deal trading book, which will be sent to you directly straight away. And you also get the option to come on this workshop for £47 in one of the locations of Birmingham, which is on the 19th of November, and London on the 3rd of December. So the free book, you get to save your seat at the discounted prices and the locations there. And I'm just going to let you into a couple of people that I've really helped this year. Now, Vicky Hughes has learned how to source and trade deals since February 2016. Her first deal alone, 1 month later, made her £5,000. Now, Vicky, I've been working with Vicky since February, so we're 10 months in. I think she's on deal number 26. She's on absolute fire. And as a result, in 5 months, she made £35,000 in sourcing fees. That's equivalent to £7,000 a month. Trading deals had given her what she'd always wanted, a fantastic income and the time to be with her family. Now, prior to Vicky becoming a deal trader, she was a photographer, so she had a photography company and she was doing really well. But she decided to trade that for property. Now, the guys that you see on the picture here, Gareth and Helen. Now, Gareth and Helen are still in full-time occupation, media, and they've got very good, professional jobs. And with all due respect, I don't think, well, they'd like to give that up in the future, but at the moment they're still enjoying it. They started to learn how to source and trade deals in January 2016. On February, they actually sold their first deal for £4,000, and they sourced it through an estate agent, so the cost was actually zero. All I did, I showed them what to do, how to set the agent, and we sold it to an investor on my database for £4,000. They've gone off and done a number of other deals. They've also taken on a number of rent-to-rent deals, which they're keeping personally. So you don't have to sell everything. It all depends on you, your circumstances, where you are in your property journey right now. I'm selling everything. When I say I'm selling everything, I'm selling all the deals that I get just purely because I'm at that point in my life where I don't need any more property. Whereas you guys, if you're on your journey, you're just starting, now's a perfect opportunity. Learn how to get rent-to-rent deals. Learn how to get below market value deals. And as the famous saying in property goes, if the deal's good enough, the money will find itself. So again, all you can do is subscribe by going to yourpropertynetwork.co.uk, and you get your first issue free, and also you get the book for free. And you get the option to come on our workshop on the 19th of November and 3rd of December. Now my question is, can you afford not to do this? Because what happens if you don't do anything? Without being cynical, you don't have to worry about learning anything new. You don't have to worry about taking action. But more importantly, you don't have to worry about getting out of your comfort zone, which also means that your life will not change. It means that your frustrations at work will remain. And you'll still have to suffer through the commute every day, and you'll still have to accept the fact that you've got limited choices. So all you've got to do to learn the secrets, you've just got to come and spend a day with me. I want to spend that day with you. I want to share some of the secrets that have got me to financial freedom, so that you don't have to go to the dark days that I went through. So what I'm going to do, so someone's just said, can you put that link back up? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spend this time now to go through a Q&A session.
Okay, Arsh, if I can just jump in there a second, because we've got lots of great questions, as you said, but I just want to give some people time to go and have your great offer, because before we do the questions, now would be the time to go and do it. We've got a limited space. This offer is only available tonight until midnight unless we sell out of those places. So this would be a good time. We'll pause for a couple of minutes just to give Arsh a little bit of time to get his breath back. Let's just have a look at what Arsh has been offering here. He's saying if you simply go to yourpropertynetwork.co.uk/Arsh, that will take you to a page where you can subscribe to Your Property Network magazine completely free of charge. Today you'll also get access to the back catalogues that they've had over the previous months, and you'll also get access to audio that they've recorded, 200 hours worth of audio that you can listen to completely free of charge simply by subscribing to this webinar with Arsh Ellahi. Then once you've then done that, that will then take you onto another page saying thank you, and as a thank you, you can then download and access that free PDF book that Arsh Ellahi has written himself, the No Money Down Property Investing. And you can also secure your seat, usually selling for £497. It's yours for just £47. If you want to go along and join Arsh, where he will teach you exactly how he's been teaching other people to actually make a lot of money by sourcing and selling properties. So why not go across now? We will come back for some questions in just 2 minutes time. Go to yourpropertynetwork.co.uk/Arsh, take him up on that offer, get the free copy of Your Property Network magazine, get the free copy of Arsh's book, and also secure your seat for just 47 quid. Now, a lot of you saying, I already subscribe to Your Property Network magazine, can I enjoy this offer as well? The good news is, yes, you can. Here's what we're going to do to help you. We've arranged with our team at Your Property Network magazine that if you email them, then they will actually make sure that you get this offer of attending for just £47 to go and meet Arsh to learn out how he's doing it, and you can get access to that PDF book too, the No Money Down Property Investing. Here's what you need to do. You need to send an email to george@yourpropertynetwork.co.uk. I'll say that again. Send an email to george@yourpropertynetwork.co.uk. Tell George that you've been on this webinar with Arsh Ellahi and that you'd like one of his seats for just £47 and the free PDF book. And George will make sure that you get the relevant links that will actually help you to be able to secure it at that special price. So that's the good news for people who already subscribe to YPN. If you don't, and you want to take Arsh up on that very good offer, brilliant offer in fact. In fact, the slide says outrageous, and I think he's right. You simply need to go to yourpropertynetwork.co.uk/Arsh, and that then will take you to a page where you can subscribe to your first copy of YPN Magazine, completely free. There's no contract. You can cancel it at any time if you want to, but ongoing it's £6.95, and it's great value. I've got my copy, this month's copy of Your Property Network magazine, and it's full of just such great stuff in here. Inside, if I just turn over the page, there's holiday-sized bundles of cash working just at the weekend, and that's Arsh Ellahi's section in this month's magazine, telling us how we can just get those holiday-sized bundles of cash working just at the weekend. If we flick back a little bit, we've got using your pension to leverage investing in your own UK residential property. What else have we got here? Your first or next year in property, looking ahead for what your year is going to be. And there's a step-by-step guide to how you should be doing that. We've also got about getting to grips with refurbishment of your property as well. Just flicking through here. What we're also looking at is, if you won the lottery jackpot tomorrow, what would you do? And lots of different people there that are wanting to help you to really think forward as well. All sorts of special offers in here as well for YPN readers. There really is a lot of stuff you want to read. The Tenants Renting Guide, that there is on page 54. It's a great magazine, just £6.95 ongoing, but yours is free of charge simply by going to yourpropertynetwork.co.uk/Arsh. Sign up there, you'll get your first copy completely free, sent to you in the post in a matter of days, and that then on the thank you page will allow you to sign up for Arsh's course. So here's what we're going to do. We'll just go quiet for just the next 2 minutes, and then watch the countdown on the clock, and we'll then come back in 2 minutes time and we'll ask Arsh some questions. So I now make it, it's just 1.5 minutes past 9, and what we'll do, we'll come back together when it's 3.5 minutes past 9, and we'll go through and we'll ask to answer some of your great questions you've been sending through. So we'll pause for just 2 minutes. We'll see you back here very soon. We're not going anywhere. You stay there as well. Just to let you know, we're still here. We're just waiting for you to fill in your forms. We'll be back with you in just a minute and a bit. So stay there, and we'll be back with you soon to ask some questions with Arsh Ellahi. And for those of you that are wanting to find a quick way to actually sign up for Your Property Network magazine free, you'll probably see that on your screen now. We've put a clickable link there, www.yourpropertynetwork.co.uk/Arsh. Can you see it there? Just in the little chat box. If you click on that, that will take you through quickly to where you need to sign up to get your free copy of Your Property Network magazine and take Arsh up on that great offer of a £497 seat for just £47. So go and click on that now. We'll be back in a minute's time. Okay, well, I make it about time now that we just gather back together, if that's okay. Still time for you to take up the last few remaining places. By all means, keep on typing in there. But we will go through some questions, if that's okay with you, Arsh. Lots of great questions coming through here. I'd like to start, if I may, please, Arsh, by this one by John. What John is saying is, Arsh, do you provide the rent-to-rent and lease option contracts on your course? Okay. The reason why he's asking that is he's saying that he wants to be able to secure the properties in the right way so that you can sell them on through your network, and he doesn't want to get the paperwork wrong. What would you say to John in order to help him to secure those properties correctly?
Right, okay, John. First of all, thank you very much for being online, and it's a great question. Now, with regards to the, when we're talking about properties, I'm assuming that you want to secure, I'm assuming you're talking about below market value or rent documents. Now, each of these documents are completely separate. I've spent thousands of pounds on securing these or getting these right with a great team of solicitors. Now, by coming on the workshop, admittedly, I'll be completely honest, you're not going to get those documents. There is an opportunity to purchase them separately, but because we can't offer them £47, it's cost me thousands of pounds to create. But I will be showing you exactly what you need to do, how to secure the lead, and how to move forward so that it's a sellable proposition. And if you've got your own network, you don't have to JV with me. If you've got your own network of people that you want to sell it through so that you make all the money, great. If you don't and you want to JV with me, I'm more than happy to help you on that basis. So, there's a number of ways that I can help you. So are there any other questions, Andy?
Yeah, we've got loads of questions. This one just popped in by Anthony. Hi, Anthony. I have no problems with finding the deals, but I'm finding the finance is difficult to raise. Also, the stamp duty for the second homeowner for flipping is a problem. What should Anthony be doing there? He can find the deals, but it's about finding the finance and paying the extra stamp duty.
Okay, that's a great question. Thanks, Andy, and thanks, Anthony. First of all, again, thanks for being online. Now, Anthony, just out of curiosity, if you're dual trading, why do you require finance? Now, I'm assuming that if you're talking about finance, you're looking to acquire them for your own portfolio. Now, if that's the case, then yes, naturally, there is no other way other than paying that additional and that dreaded 3% stamp duty. Alternatively, with trading, you don't own the stock. You don't even require finance for it. You're literally, just imagine there's three people in a transaction, A, B, and C. A is the vendor, B is you as the trader, and C is the investor buying it off you. All you're doing is you're putting A and C together, but you're being paid for your service in the centre. So you don't require finance to trade property, and that's why it's such a great strategy. Because, with all due respect, last year I did 140 deals. This year we've actually on the verge of doing 250 deals. That's 250 deals in a year, which is equivalent to just under 5 a week. Now, I'm not a bottomless pit of cash, and I don't pretend to be one either. And I haven't had to put a deal. I'll give you actually. This is a great question. I'll give you an example now of a deal that we've just done recently. Now, it's in Dudley, which is in the West Midlands. For those that have never visited, you really must. It really is a weekend experience. And if you get out alive, I think you will do well. So, in Dudley, there was a piece of land. The vendor owned it for 15 years and never spent a penny on it. So, as you can imagine, it was overgrown, it was dilapidated, and she wanted £80,000 for it. And she wanted me to buy it £80,000. So I said, there's no way that I'm putting £80,000 into this deal. However, I structured it in a format where, in actual fact, she walked away with, we actually sold it for £115,000. And on the back of that, she actually walked away with 97 grand instead of 80 grand. She allowed me to control the deal. I sold it for 115 grand. I made 17 grand on a property that I don't own. I had no vision of owning. I simply put the deal together in a format that looked attractive and is attractive to another investor, because every investor has got a different vision. When I look at a property, I may be looking at it in a completely different way of light than what you probably would. Not every house is a HMO to me. A house could be a different thing. So it could be a standard single let, it could be a HMO, it could be a service accommodation unit, it could be a development opportunity, it could be commercial to residential. But we're going to look at it in a format. And I sold that deal where they exchanged immediately with a 10% deposit, which meant that I made 17 grand literally for 28 days work. And out of that, I probably worked, out of those 28 days, I probably worked the best part of 1 day on that deal, working in hours-wise of 8 hours. So you've got to ask yourself the question now, would you be happy with 17 grand for 8 hours work, which is equivalent to just over £2,000 an hour? When you look at it and you value your time in that way, it's due to complete this week, and I'm very happy with my contribution. The vendor is very happy with their contribution because they were going to sell me that deal for £80,000. In actual fact, they've now got £97,000 for that same property. So we've created a win-win-win. They've won, I've won, the investors won. So hopefully that's answered your question. You don't need finance to trade property.
it's a great answer, and I think you've also helped Karen here. She's saying, I'm a stay-at-home mum, so don't have an income and couldn't get credit. Could I possibly become a property investor? Your answer that you gave to Anthony is perfect for Karen as well, then, just being the person in the middle.
You know what, Karen? If anything, you're in a great position, because if you're a stay-at-home mom, you've got lots of time. You trade your time. You trade your time for someone else's money. And
Yeah, brilliant.
if you've got time and you've got determination, you've got motivation, and you've got the ability to go out and do this, you don't even have to go out and do this. A lot of the deals I actually don't ever see. Like, with all due respect, I'm based in Wolverhampton. I've done deals right up in Scotland, right down to Bournemouth, and the majority of the deals that I've never seen. I may go out to see some of the local ones in Birmingham, etc., just to keep myself busy. But other than that, I do pretty much. I get all the other people in those locations to do all the work for me.
Great teamwork. I've got another question here from, I think it's Aushra. Excuse me if I've pronounced your name wrong, Aushra. But the question is great. It says, so I've got already a few good deals. She's resourced them, or he's resourced them. I'm struggling to find investors to buy them. So are you saying, Arsh, that they can just pass the deals on to you and you'll put them out through your network?
Yes, but let's be completely honest about this, Andy. The only way that they can JV with me is by taking us up on our offer. And the reason why we've done that is purely because we want you to be part of our network. So first of all, you've got to go through to yourpropertynetwork.co.uk/Arsh, and you have to subscribe to YPN. And as a result of that, you'll get a copy of my free book and then the opportunity to come and spend the day with me. But yes, I can help you find investors interested in your HMOs. First things we need to have a look at is, what kind of deals are they? Are they, yes, you're saying that the HMOs, we need to have a look at the cash flow, we need to have a look at the tenant segment, we need to have a look at the existing use, we need to have a look at the bricks and mortar value, we need to have a look at the investment value. There's so many different factors. With all due respect, I couldn't go through all of that in an hour. That's why I'm saying, come and spend the day with me. Let's go through it. And as a result of that, if you're finding deals, great, you're the person that I want to be with. Because, together we could be a great part of the jigsaw. If you've got great deals, I've got lots of people looking for stock on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, I'd be more than happy to spend some time with you.
Great teamwork, thank you. This next question comes from Nigel, who says, once you agree a price with the vendor, how do you hold that deal and stop others doing a deal before you've traded it?
That's a great question. I really like that question. Because, Nigel, you've got to make sure that your paperwork is all in order. So there's so we've got option agreements, we've got lockout agreements, we've got exclusivity agreements. And these documents are all there to stop the vendor or stop other people poaching the deals. Now, for argument's sake, one of my mentees today, he's got a deal with an agent. Now, I said to my mentee, we need to get exclusivity to that deal. So with an agent, it varies straightforward. Agents will sign whatever you want them to sign, you want them to sign, on the basis that you're going to be able to deliver on your side of the bargain. Now, for argument's sake, my mentee was interested in literally packaging this deal up. He's got no interest in buying it. So he's gone off and he's got exclusivity on that property as little as 7 days. And sometimes we've got exclusivity on some deals for the best part of 3 months, even with estate agents. And when it's direct to vendor, you can ask for exclusivity for as long as you want. In there, putting clauses that should they try and gazump you, that you can potentially take them to court as breach of contract. So there are lots of documents that you could get hold of that could give you exclusivity to the deal. But more importantly, if you think that someone's going to gazump you, would you want to work with them anyway? Because technically speaking, are they not acting ethically according to the way that you work? Out of all the time that I've been doing this, I think I've only ever been gazumped twice. And I can pretty much name them because admittedly, they're deals that have left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. And one of them was through a solicitor, believe it or not.
Wow.
What he did, he recommended it. One of the deals that I did, it was actually in the West Midlands. We agreed £80,000, where it was probably worth around 110. We were starting to go through the legal conveyance, and through that process, the solicitor acting on behalf of the vendor actually introduced it to one of his mates and took a bit of a backhand, should I say, and as a result, we lost that deal. So yes, it does happen. Unfortunately, it does happen sometimes in property, but I'd like to think that out of the thousands of properties that I've traded over my lifespan of property, that it is very much a minority.
Brilliant. Okay. Our next question comes from Fiona. Going back to your leaflets, Arsh, and I noticed you use yellow paper, and she's saying that you had black writing on that yellow to sort of make them look like a colour leaflet. Would you only ever do yellow paper and black printing, or would you ever consider colour leaflets?
Well, the method that I've always used has been yellow leaflet and black paper. Yellow paper and black writing, purely because it's been proven, it's been tested, and it works extremely well. Now, I tell you what I did find. Now, admittedly, I saw someone else do this, and I thought it was absolutely genius. Now, one of the adverts that I saw, and it was actually posted through my door. So I got home from the office one day. And sometimes you notice at the post office, if you've missed, or the postman, if you've missed a parcel, you'll get the little red slip through your door, and it says,
Yes.
sorry, we missed it. Now, I came home from work one day and I saw that. I thought, damn, I've missed a parcel. I picked it up and it says, sorry, we missed you, but we're really eager to purchase your property. And I thought that was absolutely genius. Pretty much in the same design as a Royal Mail design, and it had I saved it on my phone because I thought it's probably the best advert I've ever seen. I've actually seen it said, sorry we missed you, reference to the, please call Adam on a phone number, quoting the above reference number. We can offer you a free valuation on your home. We are a genuine property funded company looking to purchase homes in your area. And it was in exactly the same format as the Royal Mail. Everyone would have picked up that leaflet. You can pretty much guarantee everyone would have picked up that leaflet thinking that they missed a parcel.
That's nice. That's excellent. I've just got a little bit of housekeeping. We've got some great questions still coming through, so do keep sending your questions. I've got a little bit of housekeeping, though, if that's okay, Arsh, just to go through. Because what we've noticed is that there's a few of you that have gone in to fill out the delivery screen, but you haven't yet completed your order correctly, and you're not going to be able to get your book or take Arsh up on his offer. So let me just explain exactly what the process is. When you go to yourpropertynetwork.co.uk/Arsh, there's a form there that you need to complete, and you also need to fill in the direct debit. The reason why you do that is that that's what they will use to take the £6.95 from month 2. You don't need to pay anything for your first month, but you do need to process the paperwork correctly in order to get this free offer. So just on a housekeeping point, if that's okay, there's a few people that have filled out the delivery screen, but they've not completed the direct debit, so therefore they've not gone through the whole process to secure the free copy of Arsh's book, and you won't get his tickets at the £47. So if that's you, sorry that I'm just mentioning this, but I know that you'll want to make sure you don't miss out on this, and you may be wondering why you don't get your magazine through the post and why the offer of Arsh's book and the £47 tickets are not yours. The reason is that I can see that a few of you, the office is telling me, that haven't yet completed the paperwork correctly. So there is a little thing there to do with the direct debit. I think that's probably the stumbling block, but don't worry, you set that up now, but that won't start until month 2 if you want to keep your magazine coming through, your Property Network magazine. So I hope that all makes sense. Now would be a good time to go and do it. There are still some spaces available if you want to. Remember, we're going to only hold this offer until midnight today. So please make sure that you don't miss out on anything there. So now would be a good time to go to yourpropertynetwork.co.uk/Arsh, fill in the details there, including, please, that direct debit section, and then that will lead you on to go through to the thank you page, which then gives you access to that free book, which is the No Money Down Property Investing book, and you can also secure your £497 seat for just £47. So now's the time to go to yourpropertynetwork.co.uk/Arsh. Just come back to some if I can. I've got another one here, please, Arsh, talking about leaflets. Fiona was talking then about the yellow ones, and you talked about the great one that you've seen, which is designed very much like the Royal Mail, sorry we missed you, parcel type leaflet. This one's coming from Harvey. The leaflets you put out there, how many would you put out at any one time?
Oh, right, okay. The question, I would really put that back down to as much as your budget can command. The reason being, it is a numbers game, and I come across people all the time that put out. Now, I come across a young gentleman, and he put out 60 leaflets, and he thought he was going to get 60 calls. Unfortunately, my friends, it is a numbers game, so you would have to put out a number of leaflets. But remember, the great thing with deal trading is that you don't necessarily always have to put out a load of leaflets. Now, there's a free technique, which I'll be talking about on the day, which we've also mentioned tonight, is estate agents. You'll get more deals from estate agents than you will private vendors. And more importantly, you already know that the property's for sale, so you already know that there's some form of pain or motivation there. Every property on the open market has got some form of motivation, whether they're upscaling, downscaling, getting repossessed, currently in financial difficulties. Every property has got some form of motivation. All you've got to do is understand what it's all about. So if you haven't got a large budget to work with, you've got to have time and you've got to have motivation to be able to go and meet with these agents, speak to them so that you can do deals directly with them.
Brilliant.
So, okay.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
There's a question that Anthony you may want to answer. So, Anthony.
Yes, I will. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming through to us, Anthony, saying about you would rather pay a cheque or a postal order, feeling more comfortable rather than giving your debit or your credit card details online. Just want to reassure you that we do use secure systems. So Your Property Network Magazine, their chosen finance partner is a secure online system, and there's all sorts of protections built into that, Anthony. So I do actually say thank you to you for coming to flag that up. But so many people have subscribed in the same way that we're asking you to do on this particular webinar, and it's always been absolutely fine. There are various protections built in order to help you. So by filling in your details and your direct debit details there, it will be secure as an online payment. So thank you, Anthony, for flagging that up. Anybody else that have those little bit of concerns saying, oh, do I really want to put my my debit or my credit card details in there? And there's all sorts of protections built in on the system that we're using to make sure things are fine. So please do go ahead and fill that in with confidence, which is fine. And another point, that if you have already subscribed to Your Property Network magazine and you want the offer, especially with the book, just go and send an email to our team at the office. Send it to George at yourpropertynetwork.co.uk, and he'll make sure that you get that sent through to you as a book. Lots more great questions, if that's okay, just coming through. It says here, you mentioned Arsh estate agents getting a percentage, let's say 1.5%. So on a £100,000 sale, they would get £1,500. Is there a legal way of giving them this, even if you purchased it for £70,000, as that would sweep the pot for the future? That question comes from Bernie.
Hi, Bernie. Great question. Yes, there is, because technically speaking, you can offer it them as a form of additional commission. So, the way that you provisionally would have looked at it, you would have looked at it potentially as a bribe, but it's not a bribe, because if you put it in a format where it's all documented and it's all in written form, then it can't be seen as a bribe, it can't be seen as anything that's underhanded or untoward. If you put it in there, so every deal you send them a bank transfer as opposed to a bag load of cash, which I don't propose that you do. Always do it by bank transfer so that there's a trace of it, and also always send it into the company accounts as opposed to anyone's personal account. Then yes, that's the way that we do it. We call it as an additional commission for the agent, almost like an introducer's commission, and agents are happy with that all the time, because bearing in mind that obviously if they sell it you for £70,000 where it's provisionally worth £100,000, technically speaking, on £100,000 at 1.5%, they would have been achieving £1,500. Now, on that basis, they sell it you for 70,000. Technically speaking, they would be losing out on around £500 commission. Now, all you've got to do is say that you'll top up their commission as if they sold it at £100,000, and that is a great sweetener. And technically speaking, they'll always be happy to work with you on that basis. And that's something that I've been doing since the year 2000.
Yeah. Okay, our next question comes from Edmund. Great question. When you're offering vendors a quick sale, let's say your leaflets say 2 weeks as an example, how do you get your hands on the money so quickly?
Okay, so let me break that question down into 2 parts. First part is that, okay, so when you're putting your leaflets out, are you intending to trade the deals, or are you intending to acquire the deals for yourself? Because if you intended to trade it, technically speaking, you would literally have to sign. First thing that you would do, you would sign the exclusivity period for as long as possible, and you would let the vendor know so that they're under no illusion. So if you're saying to them that you're going to complete in 7 days, you need to make sure that you complete it in 7 days. If you're saying to them, well, in actual fact, I'm not the purchaser, but I will find you a purchaser, or I will sell the deal on to someone who will act as a purchaser, you've then got to make sure that they complete within the timescale that they've set out. And the great way of doing that is by having a trade army of people behind you. So, for argument's sake, in my organisation or in my contacts, I've got a group of solicitors, I've got a group of accountants, I've got a group of tax advisors, I've got a group of mortgage brokers, so that anyone that buys a property through me or via me has to use someone that we've recommended. So for argument's sake, I would want to make sure that that person is creditworthy, so they would have to use our brokers. I would then want to make sure that we can see some form of transparency through the legal process, so they would have to, first of all, sign some form of documentation to give us some part of third-party authorities, so that we can see the transaction is happening smoothly. So if at any stage, if we are coming across any altercations or complications, we can pick up the phone to the vendor and rest them assured that everything is happening correctly and in a timely manner. So the key is not how quickly can you get your hands on the cash. The key is actually how well can you communicate with the vendor.
Brilliant. Okay, if you've got any questions for Arsh, we've got room for just 1 or 2 more. I just want to do a little bit more housekeeping, if that's okay. Thank you, Nigel, for your message on our screen. You've made your payment and you're coming on to training, which is great news, and you've paid for it, but there's no option to choose the date. All you need to do then, Nigel, if that's the case, just let us know by retyping back in there your name and your email address and your phone number, and we'll make sure that we get you on the right date, which is good. And so that's fine. This other question then, if I can, come from John, and this one says, hi Arsh, if you and I were to work together and I introduce a deal to you, how would we split the work on the profit? Is it 50-50, or would it be different, or would it work if I sort of sell you the deal and then that's with his margin, and then you go on to make your own margin from selling it onto your network? How does the financials work?
Yeah, so there's a number of different ways that we can work together, John. So first of all, the simplest way is to be a 50-50 profit split basis. Or alternatively, like you said, that you could put your margin on top, and then we would have to work on the basis, providing that I can see that the deal is worthwhile. We could then put our margin on top. But I'd rather be transparent and say that the easiest way is by splitting it 50-50 if you would sell one to my database.
Great stuff. Brilliant. So thank you, Arsh. What a jam-packed full webinar that you've given us today. And don't forget, if you've got any questions that you want to put through to our team, you can send an email at any time through to our office and simply send it to George at yourpropertynetworkmagazine.co.uk, and he will actually answer your questions. Any of you that are having trouble downloading that ebook or want to get access to those tickets, remember though, the offer at £47 is just until midnight today. So you simply need to go right now to yourpropertynetwork.co.uk/Arsh, and on there you will see that you can subscribe to Your Property Network magazine. Once you've done that and you filled in your direct debit details, then that will take you to a thank you page. And on that thank you page, then that will take you to where you can download your free PDF book, No Money Down Property Investing, written by Arsh Ellahi himself. And that's also where you can secure your very special seat. The one that's worth £497, you can get it for just £47 because you've been on this webinar with Arsh Ellahi. So a good time to go and do it is right now. We do still have some spaces available, but they are going quite quickly, and this offer is only valid today until midnight, so please don't miss out. Okay, and if you need any help, simply email our office, george@yourpropertynetwork.co.uk. Arsh, what a wonderful webinar. Thank you ever so much for giving such great content to so many of us on this webinar. Still loads of us tuned in to hear what you have to say. Is there anything you want to say finally, just to round off this webinar and this time together?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be with me on the webinar. It's hopefully my hope that you now understand that you can actually make a fortune in property without actually buying a house. But if you're smart, you're hungry, you're motivated, believe it or not, guys, you can do this. And finally, if you've still got some unanswered questions, I appreciate that. You know, we're sharing the webinar with quite a few of you this evening. If there are any questions, here's my final gift to you. I'll give you my personal mobile number, which is on screen now. You've got my personal email address. If you want to have a chat, or if you've got any burning, desiring questions, feel free to give me a call. Admittedly, I'm better on phone than I am on email, just down to sheer volume of emails I get. But if you want to give me a call and you want to have a chat, I'm always open to have a chat with everyone. So hopefully that's my final gift to you, but hopefully you've enjoyed the webinar. I've really enjoyed being on with Andy, George, and all you guys online. So I'd like to say thank you to you guys for spending the evening with me.
Brilliant. Well, lots of people saying thanks back to you, Arsh, too, here, which is really quite lovely. Thank you, John, and all the other people for your messages as well. So there we are. That's another in our series of Your Property Network free webinars. And I just want to say a massive thank you to the team at Your Property Network Magazine, because they do put up these free webinars with wonderful experts, just like Arsh Ellahi, who are very willing to give all of their detail, regardless whether you want to sign up for their course or whatever. They come online and they give so much great content. Why not to actually go out there and do something with the content that Arsh has shared with us today? And one best way that you can actually learn it better is to go and join him on his very special day, where you can actually go on either Saturday the 19th of November, which is in Birmingham, at the Novotel in Broad Street, or you can join Arsh on Saturday the 3rd of December, that's in London, at a hotel near to London Euston train station. So two great venues, two great dates for you to go and meet Arsh in person. And you can secure that seat for just £47 simply by going to yourpropertynetwork.co.uk/Arsh, sign up there for your free copy of Your Property Network magazine, and on the thank you page, that will be where you can subscribe to get that free download book, which is the No Money Down Property Investing, written by Arsh, and also secure your seat for just £47. It's been great spending time with you. Thank you for being with us here on this webinar. My name is Andy Haynes, and we look forward to being back with you again very soon, when I hope you can join us next time on our next Your Property Network magazine free webinar. Have a great time. See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.